everybody, to episode 29. That is so weird to say. It's episode 29 of the Fast and Fabulous podcast. Today I have a super special guest. I have April Pinto with us. And April, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Your show is one of my favorites, and I'm so excited to be here.
I am so happy to hear you say that, and welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, when you first reached out to me, I was like super excited because I really do feel like I already know you.
Aw.
You're so, just so super motivational in our group, and like you're a sharer like I am, and that's how we get people motivated and how we keep people with us. So thank you for everything that you've contributed so far to our group. I know that it's very motivating to everybody, as it's motivating to me. And I always like to start out with the same question, which you're familiar with, and is how, when, and where. How did you discover clean intermittent fasting?
Thank you so much. I've done so many lifestyles, and your community that you have created is the reason we're successful with this
Oh,
lifestyle.
thank
So
you.
thank you for your Facebook page. Please don't ever go away. It's really hilarious. I'm sure you know Jackie
Yeah,
fasting foodie friend.
I've heard.
I
Yeah.
was literally Googling um fasting while being a foodie, and like, because I'm a major foodie and non-restrictive is my jam. And I found her and I couldn't believe it. And I told my husband, I was like, I have found my people, like they exist.
We're here.
Yes.
Yes.
So
It's
it and so I obsessively followed her, and then she led me to Jen, who led me to your page. And I guess that was her page at first, right?
no, not exactly. So what happened, technically, Jen left Facebook in 2021. She archived all of her groups, and she reached out to, a few of us who were like kind of advanced, and said you could use, the delay don't deny. That's how we started. Now we're fast feast repeat, but it is a private a group for those listening. Now it's, it basically, I jumped right on board when we were asked, because I have such a passion for sharing about fasting that I thought I'm just going to open this group on Facebook for like a few of my friends and family who were just like wondering what I was doing or had been doing over the past, it was almost a year and a half, I guess, at that point. And so, I didn't really expect any of anybody else to join, and then it kind of just
You didn't
exploded.
expect to have 13,000 members?
No, I had no idea it would explode into that proportion, but here we are, and we have a great, little community. So yeah, that's the little backstory about the group. But go ahead,
That's
you
so
finish your,
awesome.
you finish
No,
your.
that's so, and it's funny because I wondered that all the time. Like, was this Jen's group? So thanks for explaining that.
Of course,
Even though it's so big, it still feels so intimate.
it does, and here's why. Jin's group, back in when I was in, she had a few. She had an OMAD group, she had an advanced group, and she had just a regular delay don't deny group. And the regular delay don't deny group had, at the time, I want to say 350,000, just to give you an
Oh
idea.
my gosh.
Right. And the other two groups. And
That's,
that's ultimately why she decided to leave.
yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, but yeah, no, so that's kind of the space that it started with Jen on Facebook,
Yeah.
and then it kind of transformed from there.
Well, I'm glad it is what it is. Thank you for having it. So that's so, and of course, she is an advocate of all of the literature and the books. So I work constantly, so I don't really have time to read, but I audiobook everything. And I audiobooked like all of Jen's books. I'm just waiting for her Feast with no, the
Beach
one that
Without Fear,
no, the Cleanish. Wait,
Cleanish.
is it Cleanish to go on audio?
Oh
Maybe it
yeah. I
I
don't know.
don't
I
think it
think clean. I don't know if
did it
Cleanish is on audio. I think it
I
might
don't think
be.
it is. Or maybe it wasn't when I tried. I'll have to look again, but there was one of hers that I have yet to see, but so I audioed like everything, like the obesity code and like
This
everything
isn't. This is the one
that
with.
That is not on audio.
This is not on audiobook.
Mm,
And
yeah,
to me,
that's
this is very overlooked.
I need yeah, I might
For
just
those
have to
listening,
read it.
it's Feast Without Fear by Jen Stevens. It
Ugh,
gets
I
into the
want to
blue
get my hands on
zones
it.
and your
Yes.
microbiome and everything. It is a game changer. I highly recommend
I
it.
have a vacation coming up, so I plan on grabbing it on
Oh,
Amazon
good.
because I have to make time for it. So because of Jackie, I did like a deep dive into all of the literature and just listened to all of it, and it changed my life. I mean, I switched overnight. I went from eating like all day to eating one meal within 1 hour,
So you
and
dove
it was
right
just
in.
overnight. I've always been a jump right in person.
Yeah, you're not a touch your toe in person. See, you're way. I find it's either one or the other, really. Like it's either we're gonna dip our toe, we're gonna go slow, or we're going to jump in. And really, it's just your personality. Everybody is different, and I know lots
Yeah.
of people who just overnight make the switch. So how did that feel for you at first? Like how was that just to dive in?
It felt like better than anything I had experienced. I was so I don't know what happened to me, but I had neglected my health, and I'm always so happy and just positive, and I was just like trucking through life feeling great until I just felt so physically bad
Yeah.
and so painfully achy and heavy where I couldn't even do my job really well anymore. And so I thought, okay, I have to change. And then my diabetes had gotten out of control. And I would wake up every morning feeling so painfully hot and just unwell because of that diabetes getting so bad.
Gosh.
And so the moment I stopped all of the constant consuming of food and consuming of drinks constantly and the bulletproof coffees and all of that, I just within a matter of 2 weeks, I just felt like a new person. And I detoxed hard.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a
What was
major
that
detox.
like? Because I've heard all kinds of stories about detoxing,
I have done
especially.
keto. Yeah, I had done keto and all of that, and I never detoxed with those. Never. And I
Mm.
don't know why. I never had like the keto flu, but it was like a flu. It was like a almost like like a I don't know. It was weird as like a clammy flu I had for like a
Hmm.
week. It
That's
was weird.
so
And
crazy.
I went to the doctor and they were like, "You're not sick." And I'm like, "I must be detoxing." So like
Something's happening,
it
right?
was weird. Yeah, but I smelled really funny for a while, like
Yeah,
my
I've heard of
body was
that. Yeah.
excreting all the
Yeah.
things.
Uh-huh. I've heard that.
And
Yep.
now I don't even have a smell. But my husband says I have a good smell, but I don't like, there's like body odor. I feel like my body, like the smell of like natural like sweat stinkiness is just like gone now. Is that I don't know what that
I mean,
is.
I've never I like that's not I still smell, honestly. I mean, if we're being honest, I had to shower before because I was in the gym earlier and it's just disgusting. But yes,
You're
I don't
always at
know.
the gym. Maybe I just need to work out
Just
harder.
no, no. Don't get it wrong. I wasn't always like I mean, I was in my 20s, but just as of the last 6 months, I've been in the gym a lot.
You've been
Um,
killing it.
thank you. It's great, literally killing it. And no, it's been quite the journey, but that's not what we're talking about. Let's talk about you. So you're like 8 months in today,
Tomorrow. Yeah, that's why I
tomorrow.
booked this. When you sent me
Oh
the
my
options, I was
gosh.
like, that's my 8th month anniversary.
That's amazing. So you're eight consistent months of clean fasting,
Yes, I
and
have clean fasted with OMAD every day. Well, there were 2 days where I did I tried the up, down, down day, so it wasn't an OMAD necessarily, but
sure, sure,
yep, clean intermittent
it's
fasting,
not
eight
perfect.
months.
That's
No,
amazing.
and I haven't had a
Congratulations.
single day where I was like, "Oh, I wanna cheat," or, "Oh, I want to do this." And I have so many girlfriends that have tried to jump on the bandwagon with me, but not to say they have failed, but so many people if I wouldn't have done all the deep dive into all of the literature and read everything and understood it, I wouldn't be able to do this easily. Because
Yes, it
don't
helps.
you agree? When you read all of that
Absolutely.
and you understand why it works and that it's autophagy, not calorie restricting, or that it's, you know, um, the body rest, the gut rest that's healing you
Rest
from
and
the inside
digest.
out. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what's healing you, not the fact that you only ate 1,500 calories. I have I have so many girlfriends that even now I talk to my cousin, like we have lunch like every blue moon, and she has lost 200 pounds in the last 3 years
Wow.
working out hardcore, like that
Yeah.
kind where they lift tires and lift cars and all that. And she is on a calorie restricted diet. She can only have 1,250 calories for the rest of her life.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm sitting there like, granted, I haven't been doing it for 3 years, but hoping I lose all of the weight I need to lose by the third year.
You will.
Um, thank
You'll be
you.
there. Don't worry.
But she's just like, oh yeah, you're just losing weight just like me because you're calorie restricting. And I'm just like,
No,
okay. I don't even say anything. I'm just like, okay.
I do
But
the oh
that's not
honey.
it.
Oh honey.
Yeah. I have for the first few months, I was desperately trying to get them to understand. But then my husband was like, you've literally read like 7 books of knowledge. You can't cram it into 2 sentences. So
It's
it,
very
it's been
difficult.
it is. It's been so easy. Honestly, sometimes in my journey, it's been a short journey, only 8 months, but some days I wake up and I'm like, I'm not doing enough. This is too easy. I need to do something harder. And I have. I mean, you've seen me try the ADF and then I come back. I mean, I I uh, I don't know. Torment. Torment is the word for ADF for me.
I've never been a fan myself. Listen, it's a project of one. Whatever works for somebody else isn't going to necessarily work for yourself. This is super important to remember with fasting. April knows it. We're all so different. So ADF, alternate day fasting, for those who don't really understand what we're talking about, you fast one day, 36 to 42 hours, and then the next day is an up day where you eat for 6 to 8 hours, at least 2 meals. I've never done it in my 3.5 years. I've never even attempted it, but we're all different. Sometimes people, want to try it to break through a plateau or try it for maybe mental
Right.
toughness or something like that. For me personally, I agree. It's just not for me.
I was in a plateau and I've just embraced that I'm a turtle now. I mean, yeah, I woke up one day and I was 280 pounds and I had no idea. And I didn't willingly come to that. My kid forced me onto a scale. He was like, I'm really worried. I mean, he was really worried. He would look at me and I would cry because he would cry. Like he was really worried about me. And I'm like, the two of us we adopted him and
Mhm.
like his family, he's lost his real family like to a
Oh,
degree and he's our world. And so
yeah.
he's really afraid of being like a band like losing
Oh, I'm
us.
sure. Oh my
And
goodness.
he would just like he was so afraid of losing us and he would just constantly like sweetly like try to get me to take my health seriously. And he got disappointed in me and it opened my eyes. I was like, I see his not shame, but he was like, I'm fed up. I've tried. I've helped you. I'm trying to encourage you and you are not taking this seriously. So I'm now mad at you. And
Oh, wow.
and like
Yeah.
out of love, like tough love. And
Yeah.
he's 17. He graduates this week actually. Today's
Oh
his
my
last day of
goodness,
school.
lady.
I'm so excited. I know. But so
Ooh.
it was hard. It was hard. So I just literally like I said like overnight I made the change, found her and it was so easy. But I got into some it was like I don't know. I keep a daily journal of I do like daily ways and then
Okay.
I do my weekly average. Jen's
Perfect.
advice, y'all's advice.
Just the way you should do it.
Yeah, and it works great, but I lost doing that, I was like, "Oh, I was losing." I lost my first 50 pounds in the first 4 months.
That's
And then the
crazy.
last 3 I'm down to 227. The last like it went from like just a decline to like, oh, all of a sudden now I'm at 230, 234, 233, 231, 227 and and it's kind of
Oh
like now
yeah.
the the peaks and valleys, which I guess is good.
It's like I posted about this a really long time ago. God, I don't even know where to find it, but weight loss in general, and especially with intermittent fasting, is never linear, right? We're never going to just see
Yes.
this like like this dive down, like this nice
Right.
perfect little flow down. It's never going to be like that. I mean, I think if you look back at my weight loss, it was like down and then up and then down
Yeah.
and then up and then down and then it's just like it was like this. It was like a roller coaster. So I mean, yeah, it's totally normal. And if you're out there and you're like struggling through a plateau, it's just like time to take out your toolbox and kind of switch it up. So are you tweaking now? Like what's your plan?
Yes, exactly. So with thankfully to the community, to all of you guys, to all of the literature and to all of the constantly consuming all of the podcasts because I'm a fiend for my podcast. I listen to you. That's why I think I wrote you a month ago. I was like, what's going on? Where are your podcasts? So you were like, I'm taking a break. You know, when you've listened to all of Jim's podcasts, you've got a problem
Oh,
because there
there's
are like
so many.
so many, and I'm like
Yeah.
repeating them now. I don't I think there's still like some I skip around. I tend to listen for people that I can relate to. Some of the people I can't really relate to, and I'm just like, oh, I'll skip that one. But then there are something I love the bios they put in them because
Yeah.
if I see a keyword, I'm like A1C or achy joints, or I know, hey, that might help me.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I love Graham's good at putting the little description in his. I love his.
I love Graham.
But yeah, I so that's how I just all of the tools I have acquired, I feel so confident. It's like I am
That's
killing
awesome.
this
You
because
are.
yeah, well, because of y'all teaching me these tools. Like I mean, I did so many things before and I didn't have any tools. It was just like you do this or you fail. But with this, there are so many tools. And so I was like, okay, I'm turtling, I'm plateauing. I'm convinced it was a plateau. It was like 2 months where I was literally down to the ounce, the same weight for like
Mhm.
a month. And so I think I was writing all of y'all, and y'all were like, "You're in a plateau." I was like,
We're like,
"No."
no need to fret. It's fine.
Yeah. So I tried all the things, and that's when I realized ADF was torture for me.
You were
And
like, it's not for me now.
I loved the long fasting. Like I could be an extended faster if I didn't follow y'all's protocol. Like I would be
Yeah.
happy on an island of long fasting. It was the up day that
Yeah.
was my down was my problem.
Yeah.
So coming from an addictive food personality and being a foodie and going, I mean, I would eat, like that Taco Bell commercial fourth meal, like that was my
Oh yeah.
norm. Like I
Yeah.
ate breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I had dinner again at like 1 in the
Sure.
morning. It was
Why
like,
not?
and then all the
Yeah.
snacks in between. So giving me the 4 to 6 hour we'd and then a lot of people are like, no, you need to have 12 hours of eating on your up day. And it was bad for me. It was mentally, it was not good for me.
I hear that a lot. It's a lot of time to keep when you're used to eating in a shorter window, like you're an OMADer normally. So, and then going from that until eating, like you have to keep it open 6 to 8 hours. Like you have to, and
Yes.
you have to have at least two full meals because
Yes.
that update is just as important as the fasting, if not more
Right. If
important.
not more.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's super important, but if it doesn't feel good, if it feels like it's going to open Pandora's box of just like,
Yes.
all the things like just that you don't want to be that trigger that behavior that you don't want to go back to, then of
Right.
course I would definitely, and I feel the same kind of way. Like, I don't really want a window that big. I also don't like fasting overnight. Like I can't sleep. I'm too buzzed with energy. I just
Oh, really?
cannot. No, I'm like,
That yeah, that's right. I think I've heard you say that. I hear
crazy.
a lot of people say that. I'm the opposite. I because of my diabetes, well, now I'm cured. My doctor says you're never
It's
going to be cured. You're
Is it
reversed.
reversed? Is it now official reversed?
Completely
Oh my
reversed.
gosh, April.
Woo.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Somebody just reversed their type 2 diabetes. If you're going to a doctor right now and you're just getting diagnosed, the proof is in the pudding. It's
And I
not.
eat pudding.
Oh, there. See, she doesn't restrict. It's not about restriction. It's about insulin and when you're eating.
It
And
is
this is just,
truly.
I'm so elated for you that you were able to reverse that. So that's obviously what a non-scale victory, an
That
SB.
was my goal was they wanted to put me on medication and my uncle I lost two uncles to diabetes this
Oh my
past year.
gosh, I'm so sorry.
And yeah, thank you. Complicated. And so that's why, or this last end of last summer. So it was just like a huge eye opener.
I'm sure.
Um, but I do um definitely feel all of the NSVs. I mean, the achy joints, I mean, I'm a photographer, so I carry heavy gear.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a team, so I was leading on my team so heavily. I was like, y'all carry this upstairs and you can't work. I mean, that's not who I am. Like, I
Yeah.
need to be doing it myself. And I couldn't walk upstairs. So now I'm just like flying up and down stairs. Everyone's constantly like, where are you getting this energy? But I love to eat early in the day.
Yeah.
But because of the what I don't know if you know about diabetes, but you feel really badly in the mornings,
Yes, I've heard
like
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I love to keep my fast as long as possible prior to sleep. And that way
Okay.
I usually wake up around 17 or 18 hours fasted,
Oh,
which
nice.
feels, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. And then I have so much energy for like my daily hikes. My idea of working out, unlike you, the badass, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Um,
You can say anything you
is
want.
I go to the pool and I go to the hot
That's
sauna and I
wonderful.
walk. Yeah.
I mean, just to let you know and to let everyone listening know, I wasn't always a gym rat when I lost weight back in 2020. I didn't see the inside of a gym. First of all, it was COVID and there was no gyms open.
Right.
So I just walked. I walked and I walked and I mowed the lawn outside in the heat of Florida summer. And Lord, it just, it just did it. But no, I did not. I had a long series of back issues and couldn't even get in the gym for a while. So
I'm just so glad you're able to do that, that you love
thank you. Yeah,
again with
me
that hot
too.
saunas. And I'm in the hot sauna all the time. And I swim and then I sit in there for a while. And I think of you every time I go in.
It's
I was
the
like, I can
best.
imagine her in there working out in here. It's so
Uh,
cool.
that's where I just was. Like I mean, like I feel like it's just like I'm pretty much obsessed and I don't want to say addicted. I hate that word, but like
No, that's
I'm
good.
definitely obsessed.
I know what you mean. And that's a good obsession. I was in my former life before I gained weight, I was obsessed with extreme hiking. And I mean, like I would open my eyes and I would have to do 3 to 6 miles before I started my day. Like it
Oh
was,
my gosh.
yeah, it was amazing. And that was through COVID. And then I got off the
Wow.
bandwagon. You do become like obsessed. It's so
It's
good for you
because
and
you
so
feel so
fun.
good. It feels so
Yes.
wonderful. So you're hiking, you're swimming, you're in the sauna.
I'm
So
not extreme
obviously
hiking
you're
this
moving.
time. Oh yeah, I have not yet gotten back to extreme hiking like I was before. I don't know if you saw my post, but in the beginning, this is such a gradual journey and
Yeah.
I'm evolving in
Oh
a
yeah.
deeper way than I have on previous lifestyles because I tried, like I had lost, I don't know, I think at like my 4th month I was like I'm going to go on an extreme hike and I felt so painful the next day. So my
Yeah.
body's not ready.
Sure.
But the walking, like long and slight hiking, I love
Mhm.
it. So
That's
and we went
awesome.
kayaking yesterday for Mother's Day and it was that's my favorite thing to do. So
I love kayaking. I mean,
I
we have the
love it.
springs here and it's just so
Oh,
beautiful. It's such a good upper body workout.
those
Like,
springs are gorgeous. Florida's
oh
my
gosh.
heart. My whole family's in Florida. We're in Dallas.
Oh my goodness.
I want to be where you are so badly. One day. I go
Everybody's like
I go
moving
a
here
lot.
by the masses now. It's
I
crazy.
know.
I'm
My
like,
whole family has gone there one at a time. And
yeah, yeah, I feel it. Like I feel I'm like, we're full. We're full.
I know, stop come every time I visit my family, I'm like, where'd all
I
these
mean,
neighborhoods come from?
welcome, but also we're full.
Go away, max capacity. It's like that where we live by
Oh
the
my
lake and
gosh.
it's like all these people. But anyways, back to fasting. So, I was gonna say with when I started ADF, I tried ADF, just trying out all the things
Mhm.
early on, and I couldn't do it because I spiraled out. I was like, oh no, like I was so worried I would overeat and I did not have what it took to get through an up day.
Mhm.
Well, fast forward to about a month and a half ago when I was
Mhm.
trying to break my plateau,
Okay.
I tried all the things. Like I really dug deep into my toolbox and I tried it all. And one of the things I tried was ADF again. And I
Okay.
was able to confidently, very cognitively succeed in an up day
Great.
without without overeating or even wanting to overeat.
So you
She
evolved
wants
into
our attention.
that, right?
Yes, yes, and
Look
she's
at her. She's so
she's
cute. Look, oh my
so
gosh.
cute.
I love dogs.
Yeah, yeah, so just seeing that, even though I was like, okay, this isn't for me. I love eating. I'm like Graham. Like
Yeah.
I like to eat every day.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
yeah, food is my favorite. But I don't have longings. Like people ask, like, oh, isn't this hard? And I'm like, no, I literally don't think about food. Sometimes that's problematic because I'm like, I need to meal plan for tomorrow, or when my window opens, I'm gonna just eat almonds and pecans and blueberries and you know
Yeah, you're
everything
just
in front
like,
of me.
right, you're just gonna
Like,
migrate to whatever, right? So it helps to plan a little, but it is a kind of effortless. You just kind of get into
yes,
this. Once you're fat adapted, like you just get into this groove and you don't think about it as long as you're clean fasting. Now, if you're one of
yes,
these people that think that splash of milk in your coffee in the
no,
morning before you open your window is
y'all
okay,
do
y'all
not
are
do it.
you're killing yourself. What
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't listen. I tried, and not I say they, like we're some elite group of people and they're second class. Y'all are second class citizens, dirty
the
fasters.
cream people,
The
the
girl,
dirty.
I have a girlfriend and I love her. She has type 2 diabetes and she's like you. She's fit and thin, but still has it, which is weird.
Oh, that totally happens.
Yeah, it happens. And I was trying to give her some options, and she's every week she's on, like I used to be on a different diet, you know.
Yeah.
And so she kept saying, she's like, "Oh, I joined your community and I'm going to do this." And then I'm just like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing today? Like, how's your clean fast going?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just having a coffee." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Like decaf, no caffeine. What are you having?" He's just like, "Oh, cream, Splenda." And I'm like, "No, no, that's not clean fasting.
Oh
Like
man.
you're not doing it." And so she calls me complaining, well, I it hurt. I can't get past the hunger. I can't quit thinking about food. Well, yeah, that's what happens when you're constantly spiking your insulin from the cream and
The
sugar or
cream.
Splenda,
I
whatever.
it goes back to what we were talking about before, just like reading the book, educating yourself, reading all the information about what fasting really truly should be. Because to me, it's
Yeah.
like clean fasting, dirty fasting is just clean fasting. Like dirty fasting, I hate that word. It drives me insane because if you're dirty fasting, if you're putting cream in your coffee, if you're drinking, because some people think that I've had people come into my in my path that thought, oh, I can have oh, this is the best. This another mother in my son's class said, "Oh, I want to do some intermittent fasting." She was just done breastfeeding her last child.
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, well, I would be happy to help you along that journey if you want to, because I've known her for a few years." And she's like, "Oh, well, what can you have while you're fasting?" And I'm like, "Water, black coffee, black tea. That's it. No food." I go, "What?" I'm
That is
sorry.
the opposite of fasting.
Well, but some people think, because I've read out there, and you can have 50 calories when you're,
Yeah.
in a fast. It won't break your fast. I'm
People
like,
ask me
lady,
that all the
no.
time. Like, can I have I was trying to teach it to my friend he almost died. He's morbidly obese. He was in the hospital for a month. I'm trying so hard to help him. And he's
Yeah.
on my team. He's one of my videographers. So I'm trying to help him because he's fallen so far from health. And he kept calling me. Okay, so I'm in my 18 window fast. Can I have this? Can I have them? Like, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Just don't have anything and
Yeah.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Just have water.
When
But
in
then
doubt, leave it
yeah,
out.
like why did but it's like the whole world thinks, oh, and like Jen always says, like, oh, there are teas for fasting. I can have my cousin's always trying to get me to have ketones that are flavored, and I'm like, this is not fasting.
Yeah. Yeah. Putting
I
ketones in your body is not going to make you go into ketosis. Just
Ketosis, right.
just to be
I
clear for anyone
Yeah.
listening, I know you know that. So does your husband fast? Is he a faster?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That's
Yes.
awesome.
Totally won this because, and I want to make an announcement about it on the page, but it's not my fault. He just got inspired. He
That's
had
how it
gained
happened for me too.
he had gained weight and we had to go shopping because his pants were too small. And now he's lost 22 pounds from fasting, but he's like, it's not like me, like I planned it out. He just doesn't eat all day and he eats dinner. Like that's what he likes to do.
I mean,
So
whatever works.
I'm here for it. I'm encouraging it. I'm like, okay. He's a tall, thin man. And so I'm 5'3" and have always been, well, I haven't always been heavy, but I am heavy. And so we're like total opposites. So I'm like, I need to lose weight. Like, you don't need to, but he had, the men get the little belly.
You got the dad bod.
Yeah, he got the down,
Yeah,
and now
it's
it's
okay.
gone, and now his pants are falling off of him, and now we have to go
Oh
buy
my.
pants again.
Well, he's probably just going to stick around for the health benefits anyways because they're so amazing. Why would
I
you
c-
ever stop? Like,
I
so what
couldn't
is
agree
your
more.
ultimate plan? What is your ultimate goal here? Because you've already lost like 52 pounds. You're freaking killing it in 8 months. Like, that's insane.
Thanks.
So, what is your
I'm
ultimate goal?
Yeah, so I set baby steps. So my next goal is to hit that beautiful 200, of course. So I'm
Yeah,
at 227. I'm waiting to see that 200. And it this is real talk, okay? Don't think, "Oh, this girl doesn't have confidence." If you know me, you know I have confidence. I love myself. I'm a beautiful woman, blah blah blah. But real talk, as a photographer, I know all the angles. I can
of
make a
course.
200-pound woman look like a 150-pound woman. But there was a point that I have to make videos like this to talk to my clients every day for
Mhm.
work.
Sure.
And there was a point where no matter what angle, no matter how high I had the camera, no matter what, I didn't have a good angle. Like I looked
Yeah.
unhealthy in every
Yeah.
angle. And
Yeah.
now I'm to the point where I'm like, "Oh, I see a good healthy person again."
That's
And now that
amazing.
I see that, like in all the areas of my body, I see now the problem areas. Women are always like, "Oh, I have a problem area." I didn't have a problem area. Like my whole body was the problem.
Right.
And
You're like, it was
now,
just the whole problem.
yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like the whole, like you're like, "Oh, I can wear this shirt and it's flattering." I had exceeded flattering ability. It was like, nothing was flattering. I stayed in like long black yoga pants and like a tunic that
Hiding.
covered it
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Sure.
So now I can like wear a tank top and a sports bra and shorts, and it's like I feel
Confidence.
confident and healthy, and I look good. And um
You do look
so
amazing. You're glowing.
thanks. I feel just feel so much healthier. But now I see little areas of me that need help. So I'm like, okay, I need to lift some weights and I need to, do some more kayaking, and that's fun. So that's okay. So my goal is to just try I- to of course lose the rest of the weight. I want my big goal is to no longer be in the obese category, which for my weight is 165, so I have a ways to go. But you know what's hard is I have a sister, I love her, sister-in-law, and she's sitting there and she's like, I've just lost like I was at like a loss of 50 pounds, and I was like, yeah, I'm excited. She's like, you've been doing great. How much have you lost? Like 50 pounds. And I'm sitting next to her and she's like a size 2, and she's like, yeah, I just want to get down to 125. I'm 135.
Eh.
And I'm like, "Ugh, I do not feel sorry for you." And it's hard. So I'm at this point where I'm just like, even though I've come so far for me, I'm trying to really focus on my own journey and like shut my eyes to what other people are, yeah, like tunnel vision, because it's hard. And I can shop at like a normal store. Like I used to have to go to like, I don't know what y'all have there, but we have like Lane Bryant
Yeah, we'd
or
have that.
Torrid,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
plus size
Yeah.
stores. But
Hmm.
I can go into like Old Navy and buy anything now. And it's so
What a
freeing.
freedom. I mean,
It
and
is.
it really is just going to keep getting better. Just beware of how many clothes you buy right now because your body's going to continuously change. And but even though it might seem like you're like have a lot more to go or whatever you said, like you said, you just got to keep laser freaking focused and
Yes.
just do the same exactly what you're doing. And let's be real, every day is not going to be the same, right? I'm sure you've had your share of days that like sucked, because I have days where I feel amazing and days where I'm like, like, and it's just really hard to do anything. But
Yeah.
giving yourself grace on those days where you're maybe feel like this isn't going to happen or this isn't going to work, or even if it's just something else, giving yourself grace, being forgiving to yourself, and knowing that you are on the right path as long as you're clean fasting every single day. The best you can. Do the
Mhm.
best you can every day. Put in your best effort. And that's
Yes,
it.
no, you're absolutely right. I spiraled out when I was trying to break this last plateau, which I did break it. It worked. But
Woo.
yeah, I like to eat around lunch, like 11 to 12.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to like I would do a 30-hour fast and then a 16-hour fast, trying to really change it up like
Yeah.
to extreme measures.
Yeah.
And it did break my plateau, but it mentally messed with eating late, messed with my head. I
Yeah.
was not, and I just didn't even know who I was anymore. And I was like, I just can't wait until this plateau's broken and I can get back to my lunch schedule. So I only just got back to my lunch schedule about 2 weeks ago. And
Mhm.
it's like you said, just doing, and I know I'm just telling myself, even though I am a turtle. Like the past since 3 months, I've maybe lost 5 pounds up and,
That's not a turtle, girl. Let
and
me tell you, you're
you
not a turtle.
know,
If you lost
so
50 pounds in 8 months overall, I'm telling you right here now, you're not a turtle. You're doing wonderfully. And as long as you keep doing
thanks.
exactly what you're doing, because you're doing all the research, you're doing all your homework, you're staying connected. We all support you and
You
we want
guys
to
are an
see you
amazing support
succeed.
team.
And that really, thank you. I'm so like when I hear that, it makes me feel like I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. And it's
Well,
just like I want to
you,
see everyone be healthy. I want to see everyone reach their goal without being deprived. We don't
oh
have to
yeah.
deprive ourselves. So
I'm
what do you
telling
like?
you,
What's your diet
I'm
like? Like
loving it.
what do
Oh,
you like? You don't restrict anything. You're like nothing is
no.
off the table.
No, but I know there are newbies listening to this podcast, so I want to tell you newbies, I made a very profound post about this last week. I thought when Jen said, "Eat whatever you want," it meant like a Twinkie and a Dorito. And, I at the first month I ate if you I kept a food journal for the first month just because. And not a journal, but on my calendar I wrote like the meal. It's one meal, so it's not a whole lot to write down. Chinese, Italian, whatever. And
Sure.
I was literally, so this is hilarious. I don't know if you've heard this. So I'm plant-based. I'm in Dallas. Dallas was the top 5 plant-based places in the world to live. We have
Really?
we have plant-based seafood restaurants. We
That's
have
crazy.
all the fun, like you can go to like get a fried chicken sandwich and fries that's plant-based here with a milkshake. Like you can get all the stuff. I could
Wow.
never have any of it because I was always on a diet. Well,
Sure.
now, yeah. So like the first 2 weeks I was going to all the fun places like Chinese, Italian, sushi, and I was eating all the good plant-based and I was losing weight like crazy.
That's just because you changed the time of when you were eating.
Exactly. And then I wasn't restricted. My friends were like, "Oh, you're going to eat that? I thought you were on a diet." Do you hear that all the time? Like, I thought you were dieting. Not
Yeah.
dieting.
Well, people say to me because they know, but I mean, I've been doing this a really long time, but they're like, "Oh, aren't you in a fast?" But it's like a holiday or something. I'm like, "Yeah, but it's freaking Easter, like I'm gonna eat it, like whatever. Jesus rose today, like I'm gonna
Yes.
eat." But
Yes.
no,
So
yeah,
it
don't.
then evolved, and then I
Right.
read The Power of Appetite Correction. If you haven't read that,
Yes,
read it,
great
listen
read.
to it. I
Yes,
hated it. It was boring. It was sciencey, but
it's read by a doctor.
it was
Yes,
so needed. It was so, and it really hit home. I wrote Jackie and I was like, "Do I have to read this? It sucks." And she was like, "Yes." So
yes,
I
you
did.
have to
I
read it.
made it through. I'm glad I did because I learned what was happening to my body.
Yeah.
And appetite correction, I went from wanting to like I went through this phase where I would sit in my hot tub at night and I would literally dream about food for the next day. It wasn't all day, but around 13 hours fasted, for some reason, I started having fantasies
Mm.
about food that were so in depth they should have had like credit scrolling at the end. It was like it was so, and then the next, so I would meal plan and I learned, hey, this is like a good meal planning window. I also learned I love to cook for my family during that it was only like a 30 to
Kind of like a
hour long.
challenge, right? You're like, ooh, got
Well, no,
this.
it was like it was I don't know if I would call it a challenge because for me, I didn't want to eat during that window. I
Yeah.
just
Okay.
like to
Yeah.
think about eating during that window, like to
Sure.
meal plan or cook for my family. Like I would oftentimes bake cookies or bake brownies just knowing I'm going to make these, I'm going to have these tomorrow. I'm making all this beautiful stuff for tomorrow. And I had no desire to taste the spoon or anything like that.
Isn't
It's
that
like a
crazy?
crazy
Yeah.
energetic magic of fasting
Yeah.
and it said to me, hey, look at all this willpower you have now that I didn't even know what that meant before.
Yeah.
So then gradually I was doing that and then that's gone away now and I keep wishing it would come back and I keep trying to make it come back. I'm like, okay, it's time to sit in the hot tub. It's 11 o'clock at night, everyone's asleep, I want to think about food and like nothing happens. I'm just
You're
like,
like, I'm blank space.
no. So like I'm watching cooking channels and nothing looks appealing. So
Oh wow.
I guess I'm really fat adapted now. I don't know.
I think no, you definitely found it. You're at this point, you're definitely fat adapted. Gosh, I mean, appetite correction and fat adaptation, two different things, but appetite correction is one of those things like when you were talking about baking, in the fasted state, it's almost like you're like zoned in like a flippin' like marine,
Yeah.
like going into
Yes.
battle, like it's
Yes.
not like I didn't I agree. I don't want to like I because I bake with my boys all the time and I'm fasted in the mornings. Usually I will bake cookies for like that weekend or like maybe there's like
Yeah.
some friends coming and we bake cookies and we really like to do that together. And I don't want to take that away from them. They're like,
That's
oh,
so
they taste
fun.
it. I'm like, you taste it.
No. Yeah, they need you taste
But
it. That's funny.
it's kind of like, I know that I'm gonna have some cookies in my window like later
Yeah.
on
Like,
and that makes me feel
yes. It
good.
does. It's rewarding. And so gradually I went from like meal planning these beautiful meals and they were still beautiful, but then through appetite correction it was like I got into charcuterie really like
Ooh,
so it was like and I'm calling it charcuterie, but there was no meat involved. It was like olives and cheeses and
yeah,
vegetables and all,
yeah.
almonds and it was like that and I'm convinced that what may have put me in my plateau was my you guys not to blame y'all, but every you and a bunch of other people were like protein, protein. So I was eating plant-based protein and a
Oh, yeah.
lot of it. No, I don't know if it was a lot. It was more than a fourth of a cup, which is a serving. But I was just like gobbling on almonds and gobbling on pistachios. So I may have overdone the fat for a while, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, like you say, you're like, I know you guys with the protein. Protein is the most important macronutrient, and I'm
Mhm.
not telling anybody to go count your macros. Don't
Well, it
freaking count
made me feel better.
that. It does. Protein is very, very important, and it's hard as because you're vegan, right?
Mhm.
It's hard to get
Vegetarian. I was
vegetarian.
vegan, but fasting is did you know that now I was vegan for like 20 years and I've been craving weird things like we have pet chickens. I've been craving eggs and cheese. So I've been having a few of them.
Well,
No.
that
So
doesn't
now I'm
surprise me at
vegetarian.
all. That doesn't surprise me at all because, um, well, I think what you were getting to before with the plant-based proteins, a lot of them are processed and they're not processed. Some of them aren't processed in the best way. Do I eat plant-based protein stuff? I do supplements that are plant-based because it's just easier on my digestion.
Yeah.
I am very much a carnivore. But
You're
I
like
mean,
my mom. She's
I'm
a
like, oh,
she's a
give me all
carnivore.
the meat, like, but it's I'm very much for fruits, vegetables because I feel
Yeah.
personally you can't get the nutrients anywhere else that
No,
you
that's
can
so true. I
from
eat
a
mostly vegetables, but
colorful diet.
yes, so much color. I know people are like, there's that book that's like so many 30 colors a day or
Mhm,
something. What is that?
mhm.
And I'm like, that's just my life normally. But
That's awesome.
it is amazing. I love all the colorful vegetables and salads, and I feed my family that way. But so appetite correction started to set in, and before I knew it, I was like, all I wanted was like a giant plate of artichokes or Brussels sprouts, or I literally ate nothing but a huge bowl of sauteed kale every day the month before last. Like not because I was trying to, but my I don't now that I can really hear my body, and that appetite correction is so loud. It's like, give me curly kale sauteed with artichokes and tomatoes every day. And I would just eat it every single day. And then I went through this phase where it was like artichokes every single day. And so I just listened to it. But I also will go to the tap house and grab a veggie burger and fries with some ranch. I mean,
But that's enjoyable to you, and
it
why
is.
shouldn't
Yeah,
you? You know what I
exactly.
mean? So, I mean, I love what you're doing. I love how you've brought out all the tools, and you've pretty much utilized them, not all of them, but almost. And you're well on your way, bro. Like, I'm so proud of all of
Thanks.
that you've done, and literally, like, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for continuing to inspire everyone in the group, because
Oh,
it takes a certain it does. You have to be vulnerable and you have to be brave. Weight is not something people want to talk about sometimes. It's very hard to talk about. So when somebody can come out and say, look, like, you can do this. Look, look what I've done, and you could do it too. And so it's very, very inspiring for me, for so many other people that are just starting out, or maybe they're just, trying to break through plateau, trying to get to their goal like you are, to just keep going and
right.
just
You have to
keep
keep going.
going.
Uh, so many people started when I started, like my friend group, and they didn't. And now I still see them struggling,
Yeah.
and it's sad.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
And it just like your personal evolution with, clean fasting, those of the people in your circle who have joined you, the ones that will succeed are the ones that will ever keep, like, they won't take those goggles off, because they're
Yeah.
laser focused on their journey, not
Yeah.
comparing
That's
to
true.
others, which we have. I mean, as think as human beings, and as social media has taken over the world, we tend to do that a lot. But look,
Yeah.
why has this person lost this much weight in
Right.
this amount of time, and look at this person? And I think we really all tend to do that. I did. And so
Yeah.
I would just say, for anyone listening, don't compare your journey to others.
I
It's
think I couldn't agree more. My greatest fear with intermittent fasting and in life in general is that I lost a bunch of weight and gained a bunch of weight before this. And
Mhm.
I mean, I lost so much weight where people were like, "Oh my gosh," like treating me differently,
Mm.
like the
Oh yeah.
world saw it,
Hmm.
and then gained it all back. And I'm so afraid when people say restriction. I was so restrictive before, that's why I gained it all back. So every once in a
Yes.
while I see these challenges and they're like, no sugar for a month or whatever. And I want to do that so
Mhm.
badly, but I can't, I'm so afraid. And kudos to people doing that. But for me, I know I'm not going to live a restricted lifestyle forever. And the moment I stop restricting, I'm going to go in reverse. So the beauty about this is I can consistently, like, I might eat spinach salads 3 days a week, but then I might go to Brahms and have a huge banana split, and that's fine. And
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm convinced too that not, and one of the tools I've learned is not only is the timing a tool, is ADF or OMAD a tool, but what you eat is a tool. And you guys have taught me that because I thought I get in the most modes where I'm like spinach, 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 kale, kale. And then I'm like, okay, if I throw in like some fried food one day, not saying eat fried food, but and then that week my average will drop a little more. It's like I think that like does some shocking to your body in itself.
Sure, absolutely. What you eat absolutely matters.
Oh
And
yeah, for
you know,
sure.
it's very freeing, because like we don't restrict. We can have the freedom to do and eat whatever we want. But what you want ends up changing over time, does it not? We just
So
talked about
much.
that. Like,
Yes. No, so
you
much.
gravitate towards healthier foods, and
Mhm.
that gravitation will continue. That's not to say you're never going to have french fries, or you're never going to have a cookie again, or something like that.
Right.
That's not it at all.
Not at all. My mom's like you. She's a carnivore. She's been on keto her whole life, and I'm so proud of her. But she is my mom's hard on me. You know Justin Claypool? I think you interviewed him.
Yeah,
He's the
I know
protein.
Justin.
So
Yeah.
he's a huge inspiration to
Oh,
me.
me
So
too.
I talk to him all the time. He helps me a lot. I reach out to him. The protein thing. So he was one of the ones who like gave me the confidence, like it's okay to have the plant-based protein. You're still getting the protein. So I used to like make, do you know Impossible, the company Impossible?
Yes. Hmm.
They make divine vegan ground beef. And I would like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm gonna make a huge cheeseburger, but then instead I'll just make like the veggie protein patty and put
Hmm.
it on like greens.
Oh
So
wow.
that's the
Yeah.
difference in like
Yeah.
what I did before versus what my body wants now. But you're right, that heavy protein out of my day feels so much better.
It's
I
easier.
just feel
Yeah.
good.
It's easier to fast the next day. You just feel, I feel more satisfied, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is, and you feel I I don't ever feel not full, like, I like to get to the point where I feel good. I go out to eat with like, I went to have Mexican food, yeah, the other day because it was my first day off in ages, and I went to
Yeah.
Chew with this place called Chewy's, and it's
Oh, we have
heaven.
Chewies.
I love Chewy's. They have that ranch, it's so good. It's
Yeah, I
so
think I've been there like one time. But anyways,
the
yeah,
best.
Chewies.
But yeah, so I go there and I'm like sitting there and and then I go, I'm not kidding. This is who I am now. I leave Chewy's because they don't have window worthy desserts at Chewy's. And I go next door to another restaurant to get a Pizookie. And I'm
Mm.
like, am I a total piglet? But I'm not even that full because I barely ate anything at Chewy's because I didn't want much, you know? And but
It,
that's how far I go to protect my window worthy things. And I don't do that every day, but I'm like, who am I doing this, going to these extreme measures? If I was on my way to a Greek restaurant and they don't have I don't know if you like, do you like Greek food?
oh, I love Greek food.
Vegetarians could live off of Greek food.
Probably.
It's falafel,
Yeah.
all the greens, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have dressings at Greek food. They eat hummus or olive oil
Hmm.
at Greek
Yeah.
food places. So
Yeah.
I go out of my way to a restaurant on my way to the restaurant to buy special dressing to take with me. And my friend's like, "You are really into like what you eat." And I'm like, "Well, I just need what I eat needs to be window worthy. Like if it's not, I'm not going to eat it."
There's nothing wrong with that. Listen, I will tell anyone I'm a food snob. 100%. Like nope, that's not worth it to me. I'd rather
Yep, I
not.
would rather just not eat.
I would rather just like if there's really like nothing window worthy and I'm not hungry, I will just keep fasting. I mean, not to
Same.
any extreme measures or anything like that, but it's just it has to be worth your window, worth
Yeah.
it to sustain you to the next day, whatever
Yes.
your fast is that day. So I mean, yeah, there's so many different ways you could go about doing this, and it's such freedom. And I'm so happy for everything that you know you're just like you're knocking it out, April. Like every
Oh,
single
thank
time I see
you.
your posts,
I love it.
it's really, really, really like it drives me. It drives me really because I see how the transformations that happen in the group. And when I collectively think about how many people that have totally like changed their life through fasting, it makes me feel some kind of way, man, because it
Yes.
makes me feel some kind of way and in a good,
It
wonderful
is,
way.
I mean, life change like I am a very religious person and I pray, thank you for my husband, thank you for my kid, thank you for my career. Thank you for intermittent fasting. I thank God for intermittent fasting. And
Amen.
sometimes I tear up because I was like dying slowly. I mean, who knows where I would have gone if I wouldn't have found this
I'm like you. I thank God for it every day,
every
among
day.
lots of other things. So
Yeah.
to that, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us because, it's people that, like we said before, people that share and that are willing to come forward and tell their story and inspire others. That's how we get this word moving globally.
Yeah.
So, April, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
And I
you.
really, really hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and don't work too hard.
Yes.
By the way, you're are such a gifted photographer. Like, I wish I could fly you here just to take
You can
pictures of
fly
our
me there
family. Like,
anytime.
if I had the money, I would totally do it, girl. I would fly you here to take pictures of my family because they're just gorgeous. Like, if you
Thank you.
haven't checked
You're so
out
sweet.
April's photography, check it out, especially in a
Aw,
wedding coming, because
you're so
damn, I would have liked you
sweet.
at my wedding. Like, that would have been amazing.
Oh,
Not
I
that my
begged my
photographer wasn't
husband.
awesome. She was awesome, but
Oh,
it was, I didn't know you then.
thank you. I begged my husband. I'm like, wedding photography, like we just fit. It's gonna do well there, but he won't let us leave Texas. So I go there.
Oh,
Which part of Florida are you in?
I'm near Orlando,
Oh,
like a
okay.
suburb of Orlando. Yeah.
You know 30A, like between Destin and Panama?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my sweet spot. So I spend a lot
Oh,
of my summer there.
that's the panhandle.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that for what they call it, like the Emerald Coast or whatever, that
Yeah. The
beautiful
Emerald
oh,
Coast. Yeah. Isn't it great? It's so
that's where my
beautiful
whole
up there.
family has left me for. So they're all there now. Yeah, I go there. We'll be going there in July. I sometimes I stay a week, sometimes I stay a month. I just love to be. I want to be there. I love
Well,
it.
I'll be here all summer. So if you want to hang out, I'm down by Orlando.
Is that by Disney?
Yeah.
Kissimmee or whatever?
Yeah. I live
Yeah.
on the other side of Orlando, but yeah, it's near Disney.
I want to come to Universal. I would love to come and
Universal's
you can show
fun.
me all the fasting, amazing activities we could do there.
We could just not eat and just, have fun the whole day. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I mean, when I'm on vacation, I don't want to eat because it's like hiking, kayaking, all the fun stuff. Like you're just like go, go, go.
I can never find anything more window worthy in those parks. It's just wow. But anyways, I digress. April, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so happy that we got to do this. Thank you. I wish you the most wonderful rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend and God bless.
Thanks, you too, sweetie. Bye.
Bye.